Hi everybody, I'm Matt Starr, PGA professional here at the Meadow Links and Golf Academy, and today we're going to talk about equipment. When we go out to play around a golf, we're allowed to carry as many as 14 clubs in our golf bag. And each and every one of our golf clubs has 3 components to it. So each of our golf clubs will always have a grip, which is usually made out of rubber, and that's the end that we're going to hold when we prepare to hit a shot. We have the shaft of the club, which is either made out of metal or it's made out of another material called graphite. Graphite is a little bit lighter and allows us to swing our club a little bit faster. Our club shaft is made to bend and flex a little bit as we swing, and that bending and flexing does help transport some energy from the club into the golf ball, which allows us to hit it out there a good distance. And then the last component to our golf clubs is the club head. So the club head is glued to the club shaft, and ideally we're going to hit the golf ball somewhere on the club face, preferably in the middle of the club. So if we can hit the middle of the club face, that's called the sweet spot. If we miss the middle and we hit it out here towards this end, this is the toe of the club, or in here on this end, this is the heel of the club. And if we hit it off center, we're going to produce shots that go a little to the right or to the left, or don't look quite as good, don't go as far. But if we can hit it in the middle, that's going to produce the highest, the straightest, the farthest shot. So as I mentioned, we can carry as many as 14 golf clubs in our golf bag. We don't need to carry that many, but that is the maximum number we can carry. And as you look here, we've got a few different types of clubs. They're all kind of shaped a little bit differently. So if we focus right here and we look at those club heads, those are called irons. And they're all numbered on the bottom of the club. So for instance, this is my 4-iron. And you can see as we go from club to club, there is a little difference in the length of the club, which is roughly about a half an inch, and that's going to affect how far I'm able to hit my golf ball. And then as we go through each club also has a little bit of a different loft angle. And the loft is this angle right here. And those two combinations of length and loft allow us to hit the ball different distances. So for me, when I play golf, I hit each one of these clubs roughly about 10 yards difference in length. So we measure distance in golf in terms of yards. So if we look at my 4-iron here, and we compare it to my 8-iron, you can see that the two clubs are very different in length. And if you look at the loft of the two clubs, you can see that the loft angle is a little bit different. My 8-iron has a greater angle or more loft, so I will hit this club higher, but not quite as far. And my 4-iron is more vertical up and down, so I'm going to tend to hit this ball lower, but probably a little bit farther because the club is longer. So when we play golf, we're going to have roughly about 10 of these clubs that kind of fall into the iron family of, again, varying length and varying loft. Then we have the wood family, and they're called the wood family because they used to be made out of wood. The club head was made of wood, the shaft, even the grip sometimes was made out of wood. Now they're made out of titanium, which is a very lightweight metal, which allows us to swing the club very fast and hit the ball very far. So this is the club that most people are familiar with. This is the driver or the one wood. This is the longest club in your bag. And so we're going to use this hole usually when we start the play of a long distance hole. So our goal with this club is to advance the ball out there as far as we can, get it as close to our intended target, the green, and then we will use one of these irons to hopefully get us onto the green. In the wood family, we also have a fairway wood, and you'll notice that the two clubs look very, very similar, but the fairway wood is just a little bit smaller. So we're going to use a fairway wood sometimes off of a tee. We'll always use our driver off of a tee. Sometimes use our fairway wood off of a tee, or sometimes just hit it off of the ground if we need to hit our shot a long distance. And then we do have some hybrid clubs as well. So you can see this club looks a little bit different again. And this club was made by taking an iron and a fairway wood and smashing them together to create a hybrid. And so this hybrid club now gives us an ability to hit the ball a long distance, but the club head is a little bit larger and gives us the ability to kind of have a nice forgiving golf club for us. We're always after as much help and forgiveness as we can have. The last club we want to talk about is the putter. And so the putter is the only club that's really designed to roll the ball along the ground. So we're going to use some of these clubs all the way around as we're playing our round of golf to somehow advance the ball distance-wise and up in the air. But this putter is going to have us roll the ball along the ground. So this is what we're going to use as we kind of end up the hole trying to get the ball in the hole. So this one we would make a very small swing, a very small motion with in order to roll the ball into the hole. So just one little quick thing. As we set up with an iron, we want to try to position the ball in the middle of our stance with our feet about as wide as our shoulders. And when we set up, we're going to try to form a triangle that goes across my shoulders and down each one of my arms. And if I can set up that way before I hit my golf shot, and when I make my swing, if I can focus on keeping this triangle as I turn my body, I will hit a lot of really good golf shots. So, what I would like for you guys to work on today is we're going to get ourselves into a good address position, our feet as wide as our shoulders. We're going to put our hands together, point our fingertips down to the ground. We're going to kind of be in a nice athletic motion. We're going to feel like we kind of bend over this way. And when we swing, we're going to turn our chest back to the right with our arms nice and long, and then turn our chest to the left with our arms nice and long. If we can make little swing motions like that, we can be very, very successful golfers on the golf course. So give that a try, and then I'll meet you out on the golf course. All right, so we've talked about some golf clubs in the auditorium, and now we're going to put our tools into practice out here on the golf course, and we're going to play the first hole of our golf course here at the Meadowlinks and Golf Academy. So as you look behind me here, this first hole is called a par 3. And par is kind of the goal that's been assigned to the hole of the number of strokes it should take us from the point where we start until we get the ball in the hole. And so for us, what we're trying to do today on a par 3, we're going to try to hit our first shot onto the green and then hopefully be able to putt 2 times to make a par. As you look back there, you can kind of see that yellow flag stick. That determines where the hole is today, where the cup is. And that location is actually moved and changed on a daily basis. So the tee markers here, you see these 2 blue tee markers. Those identify the starting area for the hole. And if you look up there, there's also a white set of tee markers and even a yellow set of tee markers up there. So depending on your experience level with the game of golf, that would tell you where we want to start the play of the hole from. If you're more experienced like I am, I'm going to play back here from a further distance away. But if you're less experienced, you can still enjoy the game just from a little bit closer starting point to the hole. As we look back there towards the hole that we're playing again, the flag stick, and again the hole, that is on the putting green. So when we get our golf ball in there, you're going to see that we're only going to putt on the putting green. You can see that there's kind of a teardrop shaped area, that the grass is pretty short. That's called the fairway. And then we've got some longer grass areas around the fairway, and those longer grass areas are called the rough. When we play golf, our distance is measured in yards. And so I have about 165 yards to go on this shot. And for me, that means I'm going to be hitting an 8-iron, because I hit my 8-iron about 165 or 170 yards. So when we start the play of the hole, I'm allowed to tee my golf ball up. So I'm going to use a wooden T-peg to place my golf ball on top of to prepare to hit my shot. So when I prepare to hit my tee shot, I'm allowed to tee my golf ball up anywhere in between the markers. Now I can't tee it up in front of the markers, but I can go back as far as 2 club lengths in order to tee my golf ball up. So there's like an invisible box here where I can tee my golf ball up. So I'm gonna put my tee in the ground with my ball on top, and I'm gonna prepare to hit my shot. Now I'm gonna aim right at about the middle of the green here. All right, so that was a pretty good shot. I think it's on the green. Let's go see where it is. Okay. All right, so I did hit a really good shot, and my golf ball has made it on the green. So again, par on this hole was 3, so they're asking us to hit our first shot onto the green and putt 2 times. So I've got the first part right. Let's see if I can 2-putt and make a par. If I'm able to make this first putt, it goes in the hole in 2. That's 1 under par, and that's called a birdie if you're 1 under par on a hole. If I'm not able to 2-putt and I 3-putt here, that would be 1 over par on a hole, and that's called a bogey. Now before I putt though, we've got a little bit of work to do. So when my ball landed on the green, because the green is such a soft surface and there's very little grass on the green, it made a little dent in the green, and we call that a ball mark. So in golf, we have our own set of manners, and that's called, I need to show good etiquette in leaving the course in as good a condition or even better than what I found it. So I'm going to take a ball mark repair tool, which looks like a little pick or a little fork in some cases, and I'm going to stick it in the ground so that the turf actually comes up just a little bit, and then I'm going to tap it down so it looks like it never happened, like it was never there. So that's leaving the course in better shape than I found it, and it's also providing a nice smooth putting surface if someone else behind me is in a similar situation. When they putt their ball, it will roll and it won't jump that mark like a ramp. It's our ball. So we're going to put this coin right behind the ball there, and I'm going to foul because when it hit the ground, it got all dirty. And I don't want any mud or anything on the ball to influence it rolling offline. So now that I've cleaned my golf ball, I'm going to replace it in the exact same spot. So I'm going to put it right back there in front of the ball marker, and I'm going to prepare to hit my putt. Now I've got kind of a long putt in this case, and this is called a lag putt. So it's a distance putt that it'd be great to make it, but my odds aren't real great that I'm going to make it, but I can get it really close so that I can hopefully 2-putt. I am going to do a little bit of homework here, and as I look at the ground, I notice that the right side over there is a little bit higher than the left, so the ground is actually sloped a little bit this way. So in golf, we're going to call that playing the break. So I'm actually going to aim my ball to go towards the higher side and allow it to move down the slope towards the lower side. So let's see how I can do here on my lag putt. So I'm going to practice just a couple of motions here, trying to get a feel for how much force and energy I need to apply to the ball. And then we'll walk up here and see if I can 2-putt. There goes my ball rolling along the ground. All right, so it was tracking pretty well towards the hole. Let's go see if I can make my putt to save par. All right, so I'm just a little bit short of the hole here, so I want to make a good putting stroke and hopefully it'll go in the hole. And it's okay to leave the flag stick in. It's not a penalty or anything if my golf ball were to hit the flag stick as it's rolling along. So one thing I'm going to work on, and those of you that have been with us in the past know that when we putt, we really just want our arms and our shoulders to rock back and forth as well as the forward swing. So let's see if I can make this putt for a par 3. All right, I made it in the hole. So I did exactly what they asked me to do.